It's a very real pleasure to be here, and I'm very excited about this global seminar and this global discussion of peace, leadership, and education. I think it's the kind of thing that really is important for moving our world forward to a decent place for everybody to live. If I could have the first slide, should I request control of the slide? Um, Did, Professor Hemlata, did you want um, me to talk about WCPA first?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For,
Yes, sir.
for a few
Yes.
minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. With the presentation part, sir, after this inaugural, we'll move to the next session for the presentation part. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Okay, yes. It's an inaugural address from your side.
WCPA, the World Constitutional Parliament Association, was founded in 1958 by an earlier generation of peace activists who were World Federalists. Coming out of the Second World War, as we all know, the United Nations was created in 1945, and many people around the world at that time, many thoughtful people said, this is not going to work. This is a mistake, they said, because the United Nations is not democratic. It's based on war, the capacity of the Security Council to wage war against members that it considers to be not peaceful. There's all kinds of problems with it. And as many of us know, Prime Minister Modi of India recently spoke before the United Nations and pointed out that conditions are very different today than they were in 1945, and it really needs to be changed. That organization. So in 19, people organized after after the UN began operating. People organized to create a real world order that was democratic and that included and embraced everybody. And that began in 1958 with Philip Isli and his wife Margaret Isli. And they contacted people around the world. They had some funds, some resources from their business, and they contacted people all over the world from many countries and brought them together in 1968 in a big conference that took place in Switzerland to lay out the parameters for writing a constitution for the earth. And they elected a drafting committee at that time of 25 persons and initiated, discussed the parameters. What should be in this constitution? What should it say? And they continued this process for the next 23 years, sending out drafts, interacting with one another. They met again in 1977 in Innsbruck, Austria, for another big meeting, and they had an initial draft of the Constitution. But that, even then, it wasn't entirely finished, and they met again in 1979 in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, Sri Lanka. And then finally in 1991 in Troia, Portugal, they met from around the world. People met and they decided that this was now a finished document. So the Earth now has a constitution, the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. So I became involved in 1995 and have worked with this movement ever since. I was always a philosopher of peace from the time I was in graduate school in New York City, but it seemed to me that there was just something missing. I'm thinking in terms of spiritual peace. I'm thinking in terms of cultural peace. But what was missing was the organization of the world itself for peace, making the telos of the world, the direction of the world, something that was peaceful. So today, the Earth Constitution Institute has been created along with WCPA. The Earth Constitution Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit here in the United States. And the two organizations are working together, and they have a common website called earthconstitution.world. And we are not simply promoting the Earth Constitution around the world in an educational sense. We have chapters around the world, we have membership around the world, but we are working together to actually make it happen. That's one thing about this Constitution that's extraordinary. It has the last article, Article 19, gives the people of Earth the authority and the mandate to begin institutionalizing the Constitution here and now. So one of the things that we have done since going all the way back to 1982 is organize sessions of the Provisional World Parliament. The Provisional World Parliament actually entertains provisional world laws, and you can find these online in its 14 sessions since 1982 up through 2015. The Provisional World Parliament has passed some 67 world legislative acts, which many of which are give us an idea, if one reads them, of the kind of world that we could and should be living in. Another thing that we're doing that's absolutely fundamental is beginning a process by which we have people around the world who have signed the Earth Constitution, wherever they're living, they will be defining the electoral districts. We're articulating the world. Ultimately, it will be into 1,000 electoral districts, and people around the world who are wherever they're living will be in some electoral district. And so we're actually defining the borders, the parameters of these electoral districts and organizing them internally so that people will be able to vote. And we're in touch with digital groups who can give us secure blockchain voting. And we will be organizing around the world the capacity for people actually to begin voting. And they will be voting on the Earth Constitution ultimately, but also on membership in the Provisional World Parliament. So within the shell of the old world, which is a world that's very divided and undemocratic, and we'll look at some of those features in my talk. Inside the shell of this old world, we're actually articulating the structure for a democratic world order that will embrace everybody under the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. So that's what we're very excited about this. We've got people on our board, one of whom is Mr. Murthy here, who's on our conference, who are working together to actually make this happen, right? To create this, transform our world order. So we don't have to wait 50 or 100 years till people learn about the Earth Constitution. They'll be learning about it as we develop the infrastructure to make it actually a viable governing document for the world. So on that note, I think unless there are other thoughts or questions, I think I can leave it there as a kind of overview of what the World Constitution and Parliament Association and the Earth Constitution Institute are doing. today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.